spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you? Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Tweva Jensen.
And our special guest, Cam Paranormal.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right. Let's start off. How was your day? We'll start a little different.
Day started off well, a little busy in the afternoon, but things kind of settled down this evening, so ready settled in for the show. It's pretty good.
So, where are you located?
I'm located in just outside of Dallas, Texas, which is about 30 minutes east. Now, hey, the lights going off. Did y'all see that?
That's
I don't know. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. So I'm about 30 minutes east of Dallas, small town outside of that. But
Heck
yeah, man. Yeah.
So before we go any farther, I had a cool day and a weird day all in one. So I'll start with the wild one that happened last night into this morning. So I got a phone call at 11 p.m. from my twin sister. And I was like, oh shit, like what's happening? I don't normally get phone calls this late from you. I was like, oh no. She goes, hey, I'm going to FaceTime you actually. Switches it to FaceTime and she goes, check this out. Flips the phone around and it's like, I'm looking at my dad's house, but there's fucking cop cars up and down the street lining it. There's a fucking truck flipped over in the yard.
That in the freaking
it gets better, dude. So
Really?
it turns out my sister was one of the only witnesses to an attempted murder last night.
Holy cow.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So this guy across the street allegedly swerved and tried to run his girlfriend over or his wife or whoever she is to him. And apparently this man has like 30 domestics under his belt. So yeah. So it makes sense. But I was like, wow. Damn. She sent me like a bunch of videos and photos this morning of like them with the crime lab up and like the truck was still like flipped over and it had like the tape around it. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I was like, it's not
like
but it's
night watch
cool.
over there. That's crazy. Insane
like,
to come across that though.
Yeah. And then I had the most terrifying encounter I've had since last summer with a spider because I'm terrified of them fucking things. I hate it. But like, I don't know, just driving, all of a sudden I looked up outside the window and like, you know how like when you see them fucking move, like their legs don't move in sync. It's all like crazy looking. Like, it was like the stuff of nightmares as it was running towards my face. And I was like, oh, I'm going to crash. Like, this is bad. So that was my day.
My day, I kept a lot of airplanes in the air, and that's about it.
That's hilarious.
Pretty good day,
Pretty good day, I guess.
But something wild has just been kind of happening over here. I don't know what's going on, but I have a fixture that's going crazy right now. It's not really making any sense.
Ever done that before?
Never.
There's never one's given you fits, and now just today we go to talk about.
Laugh at it. It's funny.
Oh my god!
I guess that leads into: do you believe you have any attachments?
Good question. About attachments. Yeah, attachments are pretty heavy. They can lead to some deep demonic things, I believe, from oppression. But anyways, attachments I think can come from some situations involved in investigations. You're not sure where you quite cross the line. Maybe from that, but I'm not really questioning anything that's really attached to me.
I think that's a good.
Is that a good fair answer? Like, if
it's fair, yeah, it's very fair.
No one knows really what an attachment, really is. Is it demonic? Is it something that's just wanting to communicate with you and is able to like connect to your energy better, or what is it? I mean, the past couple guests we've had, shout out Wolf Paranormal, Blood Moon, like they have the same attachment right now. So like, how does that happen? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that would happen. I would think. Would you come into the same experience? Would you
Right,
root
yeah.
from that?
Probably. I would think so.
Any more root causes to experience things that would be haunting to you to, have from that? And then if it's something that's visual, it keeps happening, then go from there.
That's crazy.
That light is
Just
so
answer.
distracting.
All right, try this for
I'm
me.
sorry.
Turn it off and tighten
Cool.
the bulb just a little bit. Maybe it's a little loose.
Absolutely.
Because now we have to experiment. What if this is a ghost?
That's funny.
And it's playing with us right now.
That would be pretty insane. We're doing science experiments live on YouTube.
We got to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
It's important.
Okay. That's it. That's on. All right.
See, but now the question is, if it was loose,
It was off for a second. I thought I turned it off again. So
I wonder, like, what spirit decided to loosen that bitch.
It's still doing it.
It's still definitely doing it.
That's wild. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
the location I'm at, though, the location is, on note. I've experienced my first true paranormal experience on this location.
Really?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. In this location, really, I was about 8-9 years old, and my mom can attest to this. It was something that was really, really crazy to happen. Also, we've had to bring in like people to like bless the house at one point. It was that crazy, and
Really
experiencing like just a darkness kind of around me.
Huh.
It was different, but learning from that, and then just learning to utilize that, I guess, in a way. So that was my first like true experience of like, okay, there may be something else that I can't see that's here. Because I've watched scary movies, I was younger than that, didn't really think anything of it, but they scared me. Then I was like, oh man, that's an actual real experience. So, but nothing from that I'd say triggered me from watching any of that, honestly. Because it was something that happened, but never happened that intensely again. So something I can only remark on that. Yeah.
So how long ago did you have that experience? And
This
like
was
how long have
probably-
you been like into the paranormal, I guess?
I would say a good question. That was over 20 years ago.
Oh, hell yeah.
And now that would be something, I would say that sparked an interest. Now locations that are like, oh yeah, this is something I like traveling to do.
Right.
I mean, I was very young, and I went to Goatman's Bridge. I was about a freshman in high school.
Is that close to you?
That's about an hour and a half
that?
away.
Yeah, I did an episode.
I think we talked about it.
Really?
You were sick.
It's interesting.
You had COVID or something.
Well, I remember we talked, like me and you had talked to about it. So it's like, interesting.
Yep. And so I went with my sister and my cousin, and we ended up getting lost in the forest for about
a
couple of hours, like a couple of good hours.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, we're fucked.
Not good. At the time, I think the iPhone 3G just came out, so there was no flashlight. We were using the flashlight from the brightness of our phones.
Yeah, which are bricks anyway. It doesn't do a whole lot.
It doesn't do nothing, right? Really. So I was basically just trying to help everyone kind of look through. I wasn't really scared, but the whole time, like, no spiders, no snakes. That was good. It was in July. And it felt like, honestly, the woods, the forest around you, it felt like Jacob's ladder. Just the energy. It was mind blowing to me. You could only feel it, like the hairs on your arms standing up. Location like I experienced. So
it's like you walked into a bubble of electricity.
What was saying is like fuzzy. The only thing I can say is like fuzzy. You're trying to like, man, is there like cobwebs over?
That's a good way to describe it though, because I feel like I've had that experience too, where it's like if you walk somewhere that like it seems like it's spiritually charged like that, it literally kind of does feel like you're walking through bristles of some sort, and it's like, what is happening? Like this is weird.
Yeah, interesting. I conclude with that one was we experienced some sort of I guess I believe my sister got an attachment from that.
Oh shit.
And yeah, I don't want to like go how dark that went, but
Right.
it went to a point like she like pulled open the Bible at like my grandparents' house and sorry, but it just she kept referring back to that night. I'm like,
Damn.
something was just off about that night anyway. So she ended up getting like a scratch, something on her neck, and even like her relationship went like downhill after that. And I don't see what I'm saying, but it was like those kind of things that just you kind of cookie crumble.
Yeah, like
you
you start like
"Let's
asking
go
yourself,
there."
like, are those coincidences or are those
Is there an
yeah,
influence that you can't
exactly. Is it an
Right.
influence that you can't necessarily like pinpoint?
Mhm.
Because I mean, I can't say like I've had an experience like that where it was as dark or heavy. Which at the same time, it's like I'm sure you have more experience under your belt with locations because we have a very limited number of locations we've gone to at this point. But we've, you know what I mean, Riley? Like we've doubled up a few of them, but it's like I think mostly everybody that we've talked to has like the list of their accomplishments and whatnot are a lot longer.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's someone's always out there, can
Oh
do,
yeah.
and that's great. That's great. I always say I don't want to be the smartest man in the room.
Yeah,
You
I would
know,
rather learn, like, honestly, like, if you can
cool.
teach me, it's 100% way better than it's like, don't don't sit there and belittle me or how do I wanna say it, or even offer nothing at all.
Well, I think that's what
Mhm,
makes
mhm,
paranormal investigating so fun is you have the constant ability to learn from others and learn new techniques and new
Mhm.
experiences and be able to relate them back to like your own investigating style and like kind of be creative with it that way and like make it more entertaining for yourself because, we all know that there are times when you're just like on edge, like when is something going to happen and nothing happens and nothing happens and nothing happens. And sometimes you
mhm.
just gotta like think about your encounters with other people and be like, okay, well, they tried this one time and like was able to get a response, So I think that's what makes paranormal investigating so
Mhm.
like fun is you can always learn and try new techniques and
Well, nobody has the
Good
answers. That's the
point.
best
Good
part
point.
is if
yeah.
we had the answers, like, I don't
I
think
think any of us would be doing this.
probably it's like, well, I think that's where the chase lies.
Well, I have a question for you. What no experience or whatever brought y'all to this podcast? Whatever started all this for y'all?
So for me, it started when I was a little kid and I lived in a pretty haunted house. And I ended up seeing my grandmother like a week after she passed away, like full
Oh, that's
body,
heavy.
like clear as day was her. And I knew she was dead. I was at her funeral, like
Yeah.
I knew, and I was just a kid. So I guess that's what really popped it off for me. And then on top of that, that house just was just insanely haunted. Like I don't know what it was about the property, I don't know too much about it, but I
Hmm.
imagine it was some type of
You was just a
indigenous land,
child.
All right, I mean
and
that's scary, man. Sheesh, got goosebumps on that. I wouldn't want to see, as a child, seeing full apparitions is something that's a really heavy experience for sure.
Yeah. Seeing, like, what got me into it was I can distinctly remember my dad told me his paranormal stories, and I was like, "Well, that's really fucking cool." Because my uncle had an extremely haunted house, but then I had my own experience where I'm pretty sure I had my hair pulled, and it was, like, the first time I'd ever had anything happen, and I was like, "This is fucking terrifying, but also exhilarating at the same time." So, all I remember was my friend's house had we'd had weird experiences like seeing shadow people, doors would open on their own and shut on their own and shit, and it was like there's no draft, that it doesn't make any sense, like, this is a door that latches, like, so there was all kinds of stuff like that, and then finally one day they were like, "Let's be mean to Trev, and let's put him in the back of a closet, tied to a chair with a camera on his lap and see what happens." So I'm sitting in the closet with a camera on my lap, and the camera turns off as it has a full battery. And then I was like, "Cool, this is really weird." So everybody comes back in the room, and when they got the camera back rolling, and we're all sitting there, I'm sitting up against like the back wall of like an electrical closet that has a bunch of storage shit in it, and it felt like I had hair like you do right now, and it felt like somebody grabbed a fistful of it and just fucking yanked my head back, and like they have it on camera where I almost hit my head against the wall, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Oh man, no.
And it's like I can distinctly remember like just you could just feel it where it's like that's not right. Like I turned around and looked and I was like, who's fucking with me? And it's like there's a cement wall behind me. There's no way that was static electricity.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's those stories, and then
then just the common like
we worked together, and we literally would just spend like our smoke breaks just talking about paranormal shit and Bigfoot and aliens and just that kind of.
It was our love for the odd shit in the world that people would always be like, "That's so taboo," but it's like, but what if? And that's usually where the conversations always ended up, where it's like,
and then we just he had a love for listening to podcasts.
Yep.
So I was like, well, I watch them a lot on YouTube. Like, let's just start our own show.
Yep. Dip your toe in the water and let's go.
And we kind of just took off from there and just kind of developed what we thought would be a cool show that people would enjoy.
Yeah. And like the funniest thing was, it's like, we already do this shit. Why don't we just record it?
Right. Exactly. If it's something you have a passion for already and you want to share that, that's more the merrier, man. I'm glad y'all chosen to do that. It's really something inspiring too. And I'm just now going to be starting a podcast here soon. I'm going to say in the next month.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or anything, like you can ask us and we will help. Because that's the thing is it took us a while to like perfect our trade. So
yeah, like we're still getting better at using Audacity. That's how we record all of our episodes. And then if you
which it's not for everybody either,
equipment, but like we can get you linked on. Like he paid like $150 for this
for our mix board, and it's got all the capabilities of like you put in sound pads shit and like. It's got all the fun voice changers and auto tuners and everything.
Yeah, and we can get you hooked up on another like mixing board that's cheap that has a couple channels on it. Like there's options out there where you don't have to break the bank either.
Yeah, and that goes for like all the listeners too. Like if anybody has the aspirations to do this stuff, like don't feel like afraid to reach out and ask questions.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. I appreciate y'all saying that too, because
of course.
I mean, yeah, that's also uplifting and encouraging. And I hope everyone in chat also feels that way. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's like, to me, it's a lot of fun because at first I was super nervous about people listening to my voice or like, am I going to sound like an idiot? Or if I start stuttering or doing the
He says like a lot.
Like, a lot.
Like.
But then like, exactly. You go back and you listen to like your first couple episodes and you're like, oh, these are okay. But then after you do it for a while and you start getting more comfortable, you're like, oh, it really isn't that bad. Like this is not as scary as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I feel like we're almost like vets now, like talking into the mic. Like it doesn't even faze me anymore to like try to come up with like story ideas or because like we did have a time where like writer's block was a real
we struggled pretty hard.
Like what kind of topics do we want to cover on this show? For a while, it was let's read creepypastas, which we're doing really good. And every time we do release one, it does really well. And then there's times where it's like, okay, well, I want to talk about Bigfoot. And it's like a show like What Goes Bump Tonight allows us to venture off in all these different avenues, which is kind of why we took the title that we did.
Right.
Because it's more of like an ungeneralized name, instead of like specific on like, we only do ghosts. So
like that it poses a question too, like what really does go bump?
Yeah, it's like a play on words because everyone knows the show Bump in the Night.
Yep.
So we literally just added What Goes in front of it.
Well, that's very smart. I mean, y'all come a long way. And how long have y'all been doing this?
Since 2019.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There's something I want to implement. I want to let y'all know is I want to have a visual podcast. A visual podcast just being something that you ever seen like Joe Bob's Drive-In?
No, but I do know their format because it's like I've seen it done a few times with other ones as well.
It's something that definitely has to have a good structure outline, but the format is something that I want to honor a little bit towards that. But yeah, that's kind of something towards that. Have guests on as well, and then there's that kind of format included.
Yeah,
it'd be something different. I can't say what it is now because it's not.
It's so hard too because like like when we started too, like this is all free form. Like we don't write down anything. Like we never really have.
We might have like an outline that we follow if there's like a particular storyline.
But it's
to what
mostly
we're
just
talking about,
there's like a list of notes in front of us, and it's just all off the top. So it's like there's a lot of different ways of doing it too. And I really do like the way that like how Joe Rogan does it too, where that's free form, where it's like they'll just sit down and they'll just have a guy that pulls stuff up on the computer for them, which we could do that. And it's like we could definitely record every one of them. But in my opinion, that's where it gets a lot more to edit. So it's like that's where it's like I'll draw the line only because like also doing the live streams on top of it for us make more sense. Because then it's like, all right, we get the best of both worlds and we get to hit both channels and everything.
Did it start? So it didn't start out a live broadcast. What you're saying?
No. The first live broadcast we ever did was for
that wasn't even like a year and a half into it.
Yeah, it's an event we do every year called Indie Pods United. It's literally a group of podcasters from around the globe. We all come in together and do like a week-long festival online where
there's like
every
workshops
podcast gets like an hour. And for the past 2 years, we've been the opening night headliner, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
But
I'm really trying to push for the film festival in Dallas. It's gonna be at the Texas Theater.
That would be sick as hell.
That would be so cool.
That's one thing that like I envy, where it's like everybody else that has the skills that that are able to utilize the video editing software correctly, or like it seems like we're just like fledglings in it. Other people are like masters in the craft. Just like how it's like, well, if you're just starting out podcasting, it's like, well, we feel like we've honed that talent. It's like now that we're trying to do vlogs and other things like that, it's like, oh shit, this is fucking hard.
It is for sure.
Definitely respect for y'all for that, man. Definitely.
Because it's like, how do you take yourself out of an investigation and then also turn yourself into a filmmaker and like a content creator? That's the hardest part for me.
That's cultivating your craft, I believe. I mean, I don't think it's just structured to be one thing at the beginning.
Our videos have gotten so much better over time. Like being able to actually like produce somewhat of a structured show, I guess, instead of just a hodgepodge of.
We were making the main character, right? Because it's like I couldn't fucking keep the camera up for some reason. Oh, this was bad.
Instead of filming
30 minutes on one camera,
what we want. Like,
I didn't understand what B-roll was for a long time.
Yeah, we had no idea what that kind of stuff was. So it's all learning, and
there's so much nuance that goes into it. It's the same way with paranormal investigating too. Like it's all nuance. You could technically walk into any building and start paranormal investigating.
I was about to say I have a bunch of B-roll film I have, but I mean, you just want me to release that? I mean,
right? Yeah.
Cool, but I mean, there's more purpose here. What I want to do with it. My point. That's true though, man. You could just walk in anywhere and really just see if this place is haunted.
Yeah. And I guess like the odds are probably most likely there isn't a spirit that is willing or able to speak to you in most locations, but I would also wager that there's more likely more locations than not locations too that are just like pockets of like hot spots is probably the best way to say it, that we just don't know are there because nobody's paying attention to them.
Right. Like something I've kind of theorized is that if you don't believe, you won't witness. So like if you don't believe in ghosts or you don't believe in the paranormal,
well, it's like missing stuff in plain sight too. Like it happens all the time. Like you could literally be like, where's my phone? And it's sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. How many times have people, for instance, there's a TikTok video I seen where a guy who was a worker was moving this giant copper wheel with somebody. He thought it was another worker, but the person that he was talking to, there was a security camera footage and it was showing him rolling this huge copper spool
by himself,
which was physically impossible. You needed 2 people to do it. Otherwise it could roll out of control. And he was talking to someone, but that person, he ended up seeing like a obituary on the, bulletin board, and he had died a week prior.
That's crazy.
No.
That's fucking crazy. I've never heard that story, but that is
wild.
actually pretty wild.
Like video
is that on video? I want to say I've seen that.
I've seen it on TikTok. I think it was on like Paranormal Caught on Camera, the TV show. Like, it's on there too. Like it's been all over. You may have seen it.
So what's your take on like aliens? Do you think there are extraterrestrial beings that live amongst the stars?
You want to be technical? I mean, aliens exist.
Yes, thank you. I mean, I think 99% of the population at this point should agree that aliens are probably real. But I always want to ask, because it's like, before we go any farther, it's like, what is your take on it though? Like, do you think they don't want to show themselves or to advance? Like what?
Well, there's no capability, I believe, that we have to stop anything that they want to assault or stop from flying. But I want to know if we've already have touch with their capabilities, know who they are, they know who we are, and it's already done and settled. We're just now finding out like the dust cloud of it. You know what I mean?
So it's funny you say that.
I think it's like they're still here, but they're in a way that they're never going to be found, even if they know where they want to go.
Valiant Thor?
I mean, look how many military undergrounds.
Allegedly that Valiant Thor was an alien too that already came to Earth and spoke with one of the our president, and then made a deal with him for like how many people they could abduct a year, basically. And this is like documented too by like
there's a whole book.
Yeah, by a lot of people that this was a real thing, and that the aliens look like us already, and that we're already interbred aliens and whatnot, which I could believe.
Is it that blood type
we all
they're
have
talking
a little
about?
bit of alien DNA in us.
Well, like, look at some of these fucking athletes. You have like a fucking offensive lineman that's 6'6", 350, and can move like he's my size. And it's like, wait a minute.
That's funny. Sorry if y'all hear sirens in the background. I'm like in a historic downtown area, so they have like everything like right here still. It's crazy.
It's all there.
Train and everything, my man. I've learned to somehow in a scepter up here to ignore it.
Yeah, I live right by a highway, and a fire station, so I feel.
So, would you say you have a lot of historic sites around you then that like are you able to gain access to?
Yes. Way I do is gain access to them is I've attend meetings, historical meetings, chamber meetings, to be able to kind of have an understanding and get like acquaintances.
Yeah, like build a rapport between you guys.
That's how I did it. So now I'm in with like Spellman Museum. I'm in with the city of Terrell for their investigations now. They do ghost tours in Terrell. Terrell's a little crazy if y'all ever look into it. It's got a state hospital here, like one of the last remaining ones. And
wait, really?
Is like the original part.
Damn.
Inside, bro. So here we go. There's apparently tunnels under those the asylum area where they used to run prohibition.
I don't doubt that at all.
And they've sealed them off, but they put where they're at. There's like the third building and fourth building. Apparently that's where they put all the criminally insane. Like everyone there is a criminally insane, but they put the really, really insane ones.
Yeah, there. It's like level 1, level 3, level 5.
Yeah. So apparently here, like they say that one right there, they just say they see how they're acting. They say you just know when something's agitating them, and they don't understand it, but they're watching it and they see it, and they're just watching it go through each one of them. Like it's crazy. Like manifest that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, where it's like you can just see the demeanor change like ever so slightly in everybody.
It's crazy. That's why I hear descriptions like that. Like I said, the building's like the old part of the building's still there. It's just barbed wired. Like they're not doing anything to it, but they're not restoring it.
Yeah, that's a little sad too in its own right, where it's like I wish that they would restore stuff like that, because that is so epic. But I understand
you have to go through like
money.
Yeah. Pretty much. They don't want to tear it down because it's
it's an historical site. People will probably fight for it. It'll be a whole thing.
Recently, I did cover the Griffith home place. Now the owner, he was in the Griffith family. He did pass away like 2 weeks ago.
Oh shit!
So, University of Texas bought that house. Yeah, I think it was agriculture or architecture that bought University of Texas did. So I think they're going to keep it, but I don't know. Right now, it's like a museum. You can go in there and stuff like that. But Terrell's got some dark history. Like, there's like 5 mass graves I think I know of in this county.
Wow,
that is wild.
Like sanitariums, asylums got tore down rather quickly in the 60s, 70s, and few that remain. I mean, now we've done sonar in part of areas and some cemeteries around the city, and there's been like over 300 bodies found. So it's technically, I think that's a mass grave.
Yeah, I would say anything over 10.
I would say
anything.
This is what they
10.
said. They said no, because it's by the creek. They said no, the way the ground eroded over time, it just stacked the bodies on top.
They just slid down into the pocket.
No.
That's jacked up. Anyways, but
you have an official, like a literal official telling you.
No, I'm just
this is
kidding,
what our government tells us, guys.
That's serious.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, I found that out, but I'm like, okay, at least we know. But yeah,
I absolutely adore like the curators of museums and things like that, because it's always like getting the glimpse into the past that you never knew was there. Like, I went to Grand Haven with my family, like just my wife, my daughter, probably like 3 months ago now, and we went to the museum that they have there, and they were just like, oh yeah, so there was like a shipwreck like a long time ago right off the coast right here in the harbor, and a bunch of people died, so they just stored them in the train depot and like put them in the basement for a couple days because it was colder down there. And I was like,
pretty common practice.
Yeah, but it's like I had no idea that happened there, and then like come to find out, my wife had paranormal like activity happen there when she was younger too, like seeing people, or like, you know what I mean, like experiences that would make sense now why that would happen there. Because I was like, well, that doesn't sound right, because you're in the middle of downtown, which is like, for Grand Haven for us is like
super haunted down there.
Yeah,
there's so much history.
It's a ton of history, and it's all jam-packed, super tight together, and it's all right on the water. So it's like it's nice, but it's pretty crazy is probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, good.
Wow. So there's some similarities there, how you feel about that and how I feel over here too. So be interesting how we go to locations and see how things play out.
How would you say your luck with doing investigations in cemetery has gone for you? Because I'd say we have pretty good luck with like having a bunch of our equipment go off and whatnot, but then other people have also said like, I hate doing outside investigations in cemeteries because everything's already washed out and it's just not as fun as doing inside ones or whatnot.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, 2 for 2 on historical cemeteries.
Yeah.
Local cemeteries, I mean, I got friends buried there too, so it's kind of difficult. I don't, some I was very young.
Makes it a lot heavier too.
Yeah,
it's totally different.
Yeah,
but it's buried there.
Right, it's also Civil War, so there's historical.
Yeah, I'll say then you got that anchor too.
Yeah, but I'm saying I've been to historical cemeteries. I've been 2 for 2 on them. Like, they just out of the, like, I would, you expect what a cemetery can be and all the eeriness and everything, but when you experience something there and just how the magnitude of it is, just for yourself alone, you go ahead and I hope someone experiences that too. But it's you'll say, okay, McKinney Grove, that's Pecan Grove Cemetery in McKinney, Texas. And there's the Estes Cemetery that's in Cedar Hill, and that's Civil War, and then Pecan Grove is Revolutionary War, and then Texas Revolution.
There's a lot of history down in Texas.
So much.
That one is well, I think most of it is everyone kind of moved. Like, this was where the East met the West area.
Yeah.
So there's a wagon trail through here, all that, and then they built the
bloody trails that just lead everywhere.
Yeah, so there's people that fled, there's people that moved, there's people that.
That's so cool.
Do you have like ghost towns out by you?
I know of a few.
That's pretty.
We only have past 5 years, man. I would say the past 5 years that the population just in Texas has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So even populations, like, I was in a venue in a town, it was in Plantersville, right? Go figure. It's a town of like 400, I think.
Yeah.
That's the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
It was a ghost town, and then 50 people showed up apparently one day. But it's a German town. There's a lot of South Texas German town. New Braunfels is one of them. They have a lot of events. So
I had no idea. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, no idea. Oh, to be honest, I don't know too much about Texas in general, other than
everything's bigger.
Everything's bigger.
Great history, man. There's, like I said, even Goatman's Bridge. I would encourage anyone that go to Goatman's Bridge, just just be cautious of everything, because what you're going to present out there, people are going to chase, and you don't want to get anyone in trouble or hurt, because there's some serious stuff that goes on out there. I don't think people really understand. So all that stuff, I don't understand why people do rituals under that bridge. I think it's ridiculous because everyone digs them up. Like, you'll see the same hole dug up like 15 times. And
so what do you think witchcraft and like black magic and things like that is all bullshit, or do you think it's like possible they're actually like messing with things that we don't know about?
Do you believe in illusion? Do you believe in hypnosis? I would then think about that. It's all has to do with that, and then how you carry on. But you're constantly thinking that, and that's what your head's on. It's gonna be there. But,
I mean, manifestation is a real thing.
It's like self-manifestation.
I believe in that, but I think if you have to, you have to give something in that way. I'm not into, I don't know all into that ritual.
Well, it's like paying the ferrymen to take the river Styx, like
they have to sacrifice something too. So if that's what the case is, but I don't know.
Yeah, which I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, and it would be cool as hell to be able to do magic, but like, what is magic? You know what I mean? Like, and that at that point, you're like really, really digging for the answer there.
Oh, I'd look into more of like historical pagan rituals and history like that, and what kind of things are compared and similarities to, and draw that from your experience, learn and cultivate.
Right. And I mean,
I'm not a philosopher on that, though, man.
I know it's hard to say too, because the funny thing is, like, everybody always like will draw the parallels between like demons and like black magic rituals and Satanists, and it's like, well, hold on, like,
well, we all understand demons were never of this world, right?
Yeah, that's demons, what I was about to say. It's like, well,
hold on, we can't. It's a Greek word. It comes from daemon, which is just something meaning supernatural. That's what they would call it, and it turned into demon. Through, what do you think? In the medieval times, everyone, it's demon now, and that's evil, what they're doing. And now, if it was medieval times was called the good times, maybe it wouldn't be called demons or evil.
It'd be called unicorns.
Yeah. Anything.
Medieval times was probably the most savage point of human history.
Yeah, the darkness. The dark
ages, like, we were absolute savages. Like, all there was war and death, and that's it.
I do urge people to like look into like the Crusades and shit like that, just to educate yourself, because it's like, that shit's fucking wild. How depraved people really, really were, and what they thought was righteous glory when it was just really fucked up shit.
Yeah, like the Ottoman Empire.
Even that too. Like, all that stuff is nuts. And then you ask yourself, like, oh, well, this takes place where maybe a high rise is now built. Why does my high rise have a bunch of shit happening here? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because Attila the Hun decided to kill a bunch of other clansmen, like literally where you're standing. Like, the possibilities are endless. That's why I'm like, I don't put a lot of faith in people that are like, pooey, like, there's no reason that this should be happening here. It's like, no, you don't know that.
Maybe you're just encountering a medieval aged ghost, and he doesn't know how to actually react, and that's why he's so negative and mean, because he's like, I need to kill you, you're the enemy.
That's the extreme, but
who knows? I mean, there's another realm. I mean, there's so many theologians talk about, even like different books and things like that. There's like realms in our eyesight, ultraviolet, things like that. If we were able to see those realms, maybe we'd be able to see what really goes on.
Norse mythology too. Like, you have like Jotunheim, you have like,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a great reference. I would reference that also to
Yeah,
the
there's
magic.
a lot more than just those too. That's the funny part. And it's like, well, okay, somebody either made that up and it was very elaborate, or there's some like weight here. And I always like to err on the side of being a skeptic, but my like curious side is like, that is so cool if it's true. Like
Always
just
check your source.
imagine.
Have you heard of the Anunnaki?
That one's
Yeah.
fucking wild to me.
Explain that one. That's a good one.
So the Anunnaki are said to have arrived before any other human, and basically they took what was Neanderthals and taught them valuable skills. And once the Neanderthals like developed civilization and political stances and agriculture and like mechanical capabilities, building tools to build things and engineering skills.
Yeah,
The Anunnaki basically
they were
taught
worshiping them as their deities, as like their gods. But what they're derived from, people think now, are aliens. Like they were the original aliens that helped lead the what is it? Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and the Babylonians into like the next age that they were moving into.
That's I even found biblical cross reference for that one. That's just something
It's
else.
there's so, and like that's the thing too, is like people just don't know about this stuff, and it's
well, you gotta
like,
understand
there's
to
so
and fro.
much.
Like there was I mean, if we try to put in our mind and concept, could you imagine just like an energy or portal just going symmetrically up to vertical to the sky? Where to? Like where is it beaming from?
Yeah.
Like if you ever thought like a supernova ever shot out at the Earth and like that was happening, but it already had happened, but it was just the way you know what I mean? Like how does that happen? That's my point. Okay,
That's
cool, believe
wild
it
to
and all,
think
but
about.
that's
Like,
wild. I want to see that.
Something could happen outside of our galaxy so large
and it could affect
so
us
powerful
still,
that it could take literally years to get here, but once it does, we'll have no time to prepare and it'll just happen.
I really like this theory too. So like dreams. Everybody that does have dreams, and unfortunately some people don't, which I don't get why.
I don't believe it.
But you see things that you think you're making up that or maybe aren't true, but then you have like deja vu moments. Well, what if the dream that you're seeing is actually an image from a different reality, that like say you're in an infinite number of realities, like how the multiverse is or whatever, but you're seeing what's happening in these other multiverses while you're dreaming. But even though you're grounded here and there's no way of leaving this one that we know of, but you're constantly being able to like look into these other ones. Because I've had some pretty fucking wild dreams, and it's like, okay, see, that's stretch. But then also like the vivid dreams, the realistic ones that are really, really, really lucid, you're like, I literally feel like I was living that.
Let me piggyback off of this. So last week with Ethan from Wolf Paranormal, we talked about this and his experience he had at Lincoln County Jail, where an entity rushed him. Well, he didn't see that when it happened, right? But he saw it in his dream. So we were thinking that what happened in his dream was an image from what actually happened in real life.
That too.
Has he ever? Well, I would say, have we ever been to that place? And is it a memory that we recall?
It was literally on the way home.
Yeah, so like I'll explain the whole story, so it like give it like the full context. So when we went to do the investigation at Old Lincoln County Jail, we had a bunch of shit happen. It was awesome. We had doors move. We caught disembodied voices.
Everything.
I walked up to a room on like one of the cell block floors and walked up to the opening where the door was already open and whatnot. But the cell itself was just jet black, like Vanta black, where it's like the absence of color. And it was like, this is weird. Like this feels off. So I walked in there and I was like, I just feel like I'm being like electrocuted, not in like a hurtful way, but like I was like every hair stood up. Like I was like, I'm just
as you were saying earlier, the cobweb feeling.
Exactly. Like you're walking through the bristles. And then I was like, all right, cool. Like that was weird. well, we did the investigation, went through the night, you know, we went back to the hotel the next night or the next morning, slept for a little bit, and then we were going home. I fell asleep on the ride home because I was exhausted. And then I woke up to the same exact dream of us walking down the exact same hallway, saying the same stuff. And then when we got to the door where I had I had stopped in the mouth of that jail cell door and looked in, and I had this like weird entity feeling of like it just being too staticky and too dark. Well, that's when I got rushed by this big black mass, and I like walked through it because it startled me, and walked in there because I almost was like falling into it, it seemed like. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. But then we were both like, well, what if I remembered it in the moment differently than what it really happened, because my brain couldn't actually comprehend it. And then my dream was the real what happened.
Your subconscious telling you.
Yeah, giving you the actual like imagery that it's seen, but it didn't comprehend it when it was seeing it. Because our eyes are like, they're so programmed to see what's in front of us, not what isn't there.
But and I always say too, what if you see like Mothman or Bigfoot or Loch Ness or something? Like, how you think you'll react a certain way, but what do you think you actually will react? Because it's something that you haven't ever seen before, that you can't literally comprehend. Like when you see an alien, are you gonna be like, that's an alien? Or are you gonna go, what is that?
What is that? I'll know, you know.
Yeah, and you're gonna try to rationally explain it, right?
Because I would say a lot of times too with like the paradoxical stuff where it's like, I see a face here. Well, it's because your brain is 100% trying to put something that it can like correspond with it to that, so it can give the reference points. Right. So then you start wondering like, well, where do you draw the line? Like, when does it stop working overtime? And like, if it's such a trauma response too, like, well then fuck. Are we just seeing shit all the time?
A lot of energy. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if we could, a lot of sound waves, energy waves.
Yeah, like we could be sitting here talking right now, and there could literally be spirits all around us, and we don't know.
My house isn't haunted.
Maybe not. Well, you know what I mean? Like it's like it could be, and then like somebody like hits that spark, and it's like they're hit the hot spot. Like, oh, I see everything. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, it's gone. But I've
been on a residential investigation before where I've not. There's like I can talk about this, but I've had to really like explain to the homeowner, like, you know, sit down and let's talk for a minute, you know, because the whole time she was giving us these experiences. I saw the video of it. Actually, I think it's posted on my Instagram. Some of that. So we had talked to her, and we ran infrared, we ran sensors, you know, the whole nine, the whole Xbox 360.
Heck yeah.
And I mean, I even like one energy was, this is weird because one of the parents, mind you, they were in their 80s, had passed away in a room, and it was like not good the way it happened. So we did investigate that room. That's only eeriness, but I mean, it also had just rank smell. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
And also we had like the husband like just following us around with the Miller Lite, just watching.
Yeah, and you're like, this is so interesting.
I mean, I don't really bother me, but I'm like, 3 people in here, this going on. There's so much going on right now. And anyways, didn't capture really anything. Stayed there for a long time. And finally I was like, hey, we need to talk to her. I was like, sometimes we need to believe and trust in people when they say those things aren't there that we're seeing sometimes. And if it goes from there, then, you know, seek help. But I was like, I'm not the one to say all that. But after that experience with the residential, I was like, I'm okay on them, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Send the Pope. I don't know.
It's always so hit or miss too.
It's tough because you want to help someone, but like, how do you help? Right. How do you decipher like?
How do you help somebody who has psychosis? I'm sorry, like
you do. And I don't mean that that's a real question. And being in an environment in an area where I've now like growing up, yeah, I grew up around good people and everything and doing things the right way. But I understood there's also things around me that grew up, they went through that system.
Yep.
their uncles, their aunts, or whoever, mom, dad, you know, them, whoever. But I just learned to kind of listen to them, and what they want is they just want to be seen. You know what I mean? Like if they're
I
just
completely
around, they
agree.
just want to be like, oh, okay, notice, and that's cool. But if you know and you just ignore them, man, they go wild. But that's the only thing. And I only witnessed that with like even spirits. Like there
Right.
was I had an orphanage I went to, and I think like whatever rushed me, I think it wanted to play big guy and tough, but I didn't go anywhere. It didn't do anything, but it was just
Yeah,
making
it
all
knocked
these
you
sounds
down.
like it was something like someone beating on a padded wall. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
why I
that's
put
super
like
interesting.
that reference there is because it was banging and like this is thick concrete, mind you, in a basement too.
Right.
And it was just, you know, one of those things I kind of include together hindsight after. It's
Yeah, I
like
call them pillow
I think
hands
that was
too.
more of like, yeah, psychosis spirit because that was something that just was going around the room, just felt like going insane at one point.
Mhm.
It wouldn't leave. And then when I was like, all right, we'll leave. Because I got the clue, I was like, we need to go. Okay. But again, mind you, be smart. Nothing's there. Who's out there maybe making that noise? And if there's no one out there, if there is, be careful. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you always
Whole
gotta cover your
thought
bases.
process through that, man. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot. And yeah.
When you're conducting your investigations, what do you find is the most successful tool for you? Because I find it almost
Everybody
all of
has a
us
different
has a
one.
different one that works the best for them.
Gut feeling. Get that gut feeling. And it just goes from there.
I like that
That's
actually. You can easily feel it like you can feel the change in the air, like personally. Like especially somebody that's I would say is like an empath or whatnot, or like you can like
right.
100% like we always say too, like vibrations are real, like how atoms and molecules vibrate to make energy. Well, that's probably what spirits and energy is just vibrations. So it's like it's almost like the frequency changes in the air.
Mm-hmm. It does. And in that moment, remembering now, I mean, I was rushed. I can't
It's
explain
such a
that.
wild feeling
I don't know.
too.
Yeah,
wild
nothing's there.
feeling
You
when
can
you get
feel the
rushed by.
energy. Like I could feel that. My hair doesn't move, but I can feel the
Like, did
wind.
you hear the
Feel that.
footsteps too? Like
That was I felt two quick ones. And I'm
yeah.
not gonna bang my desk, but it was like, yeah, it was very heavy.
Before I fuck everything up.
So you could actually feel the footsteps like through the floor.
I felt them. Well, it wasn't the bottom of the basement.
Mm.
You ever like there's dust around you and everything. You ever heard like someone like try to run up on dusty floors or
Yeah,
concrete?
you almost get like the
It was that. Imagine hearing that, but heaviness to it. You're like,
it's like
what?
motherfucker, and there's
What's sliding
nothing in
to me?
front
What?
of me.
Makes you wonder how spirits are able to do that, right? Like, is there actual mass to them,
Yeah, like
or
is
like,
there weight to it? What is the
how do
sound
they
I'm
It was
hearing?
actually
energy.
do
It
that?
was
Like, how do they
just
actually make
energy.
footsteps happen?
I do
Just like
think it's
hot breath, man. Just fucking.
yeah.
Excuse my
Yeah,
language. Just
that too.
energy.
I've felt
Ugh.
that before too. Like, how do you like? How does it make a
Well,
breath
it's the
happen?
same thing with making like the vocal cords resonate. Like you don't, like, you're not making a sound with vocal cords at that point. I don't know where the fuck sound's coming from.
Mind
Right?
you,
Yeah.
yeah, mind you, even someone behind me, you can't make that noise and it reverberate around that room that way. And I
Yeah.
know this, and so I'm like, you could watch the episode, whatever, but you
Mm.
notice in my face, I was like, okay, no, it's in this room. My mind didn't go immediately. I mean, I went to like a rodent because there's a drop ceiling, so I'm looking for, you know, squirrels, whatever.
Yeah, that's what we always do too. Like immediately, it's like,
Wasn't
whoa,
there.
whoa, whoa! Before I start screaming
Yeah.
paranormal,
Yeah, no,
where's the logic?
squirrels.
Where's the squirrel?
It's got a nut.
Is
It's just a
it's
squirrel looking for
Snowplow.
his next nut. That's all it is.
that's all, man. A paranormal investigator just looking for the next ghost. Yeah. Well, yeah, that moment was one for the record books, and I did, you know, even before that, like I did 100% research, and whatever it turned out to be, it's oh well. But what I really took from that was a good place, man. In the beginning, it just got manipulated, and things changed during that. Then it went to investors, and once it goes to investors, it's usually
That's
in a
it.
trust fund. Yeah, and they're just
Then
sitting
it's
on that
over.
money. Yeah.
That
Now I think
those
it,
snakes,
yeah.
that's all they want is the money.
For real, they also they tore it down like 6 months after that.
Well, yeah, because you could turn it into commercial real estate and make a ton more.
Yeah, but you know, that was like a city landmark. Yeah, that was the Woodman's Circle was a insurance company.
I hate that.
So
I hate when
why.
that stuff happens because it's just not. It's not conducive to like wanting to preserve the history of like our great nation.
I think they had to. They knew what was in that because you go online and look at the picture. It's like they took a can of sardines and peeled it back on that basement, and they took a big old photo exposing that dark basement, and they
That's
posted
so
it on the
wild.
front page. Oh, they knew exactly what they didn't want that stuff
Yeah,
anymore.
they knew.
They knew it got now it's public, and they knew it was like okay, the 80s, the 90s doing that. Now you know they see all that stuff. People were gonna, yeah, it's weird.
That's so wild. So where was your favorite investigation at?
Favorite investigation. Well, here, you know, recently I've been at the Bryn Opera House has been now on the top. That's great. Woodman's was up there. Goatman's was really good. And then there's been Jefferson, places in Green. But I mean, with the experience, Woodman's got to be the experience as far as like the top.
Yeah.
It's got to, I would say.
Without even having to add like the experiences, like what was your personal favorite? It could be like from a history standpoint or just like a oh, like this house is just famous.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
I would honestly like Goatman's Bridge was my first one, like my personal favorite.
I'd say the first ones always hold a very special place to me.
You have no idea how like actually jealous I am that you've actually been there. And
we have a devil.
Been there 4 times.
Yeah, Hell's Bridge.
Hell's Bridge, that's what it is. But that ain't nearly as cool as
it's not even a bridge.
Yeah, it's not even nearly fucking cool.
Honestly, I wish I could find the city of Alton. It's buried in that forest somewhere. I know it is.
Yeah,
they just don't. What they did, they just let it go. That's a like ghost town, the city of Alton. Like I read through all the papers. They literally sent all the paperwork of the city to Denton, and then it went to another county to be stored. Yeah, no one really knows where the files are for the city.
What happened to the city?
It was between Denton and Alton in Dallas, so it was like a main travel point, just a stop off place in like the 30s.
And it just ran out of money and people just left.
Yeah,
I think the legend has a little bit to do with that, right? Because like
I'll say it's not like a tuberculosis like town where everybody died in it, right? Because that'd be
this a prominent area. It was a prominent area and very social. So a lot of socialism.
So I forget the gentleman's name that got hung, but like after he got hung and then they came back and he was gone off of the rope.
He was gone. It's not that they come back, he was gone. Like that the stuff online does give a brief history to it and does give a little bit detailed, though it's not what it's gonna be. What they did is they hung that thing so tight around his neck, it popped his neck off. It's not that they went and said, "Oh, where'd he go?" It's like, whoa,
we have his head.
Yeah, that was messed up. Like it was that's what they put it that way, but the best way to put it, I guess.
I just heard that, like, I think I even said it when I covered it, that
that's the folklore.
They hung him and then they went and murdered his family and then they came back and he was gone.
You know what's wild to me is like everybody will jump to like the devil's at this bridge, like it's a demon.
This is crazy about this place. I see you can finish, but man, there's some real stuff that goes on there. And even when I went there the first time, I marked this because I went there and there was a satanic like circle burnt into it, and it was just wild. The leaves were black. They sprayed it, put the lighter, and burnt so the leaves would be burnt. But it burnt the ground too, and it's just weird. The trees around there are it's just dark and black. There's not a lot of growth, and then there's like a random like all white tree by the river.
So weird.
So I said to say this, like we went going there, and like 10 years later, I'm like, yeah, it was around this area. And I was like, even if you move the leaves, like the leaves were black, and I just so happened to move leaves over, and it's like it was there. It's on film, like the leaves were burnt. I was like,
that's so
kidding me.
See, because like
wild.
My rendition on it it's not, I wouldn't even say like this is exactly how I feel, because like I could be swayed still on it, but if you're an asshole in life, you could definitely be an asshole in death. And there are motherfucking monsters that walk amongst us right now. So I wouldn't even doubt it that it would be like, if you're saying this is a demon, it's actually just a fucking person that is so deprived of like a conscience.
Could be possession before death. I mean, I
That
don't know what
also
that
is super true as
Phoenix
well.
is from, you know, whatever, but
it's
yeah,
hard
you're
to
right.
say too, because like they're like because a lot of people like to take the religion out of it too. And it's like, I get it, but I also do believe that there is a higher power. Like, and that's like just a personal like opinion on all of it. And maybe it's not to the extent that everybody thinks or whatnot. But then you start asking yourself the second question where it's like, well, then if there's a higher power and there's another realm of being, well, then why couldn't there be like 100,000 different realms of being? Like how we were saying with like Norse mythology and stuff. Well, then who's to say like hell doesn't actually exist in one of these realms? Or
It's
like
ever
demons really
expanding.
are real.
Everyone knows that, but hell is a dark place that's ever expanding like a worm. If you want to know
What
what
if
the
these
Bible even
what if the
describes it
dark
about.
holes are actually the portals to hell that we see off in space because they're consuming everything and you don't know what's inside of them?
Oh man, like you're forming like a black hole.
Yeah, so like how we perceive the black holes is like when it goes into the precipice of the black hole, how it just vanishes, it seems. What if that's literally like the gates of Tartarus or whatever you want to say, like the gates to hell, where it's like you go through that and it's like you're at the other realm, and that's a dark, dark realm.
But
everything's being ate.
You look who has the keys though. That's the thing, bro. That's where it's wild. There's some things that even the Bible doesn't even know. Like what happened those 3 days when he was down?
Yeah,
We don't know.
Elon.
Elon's got what? Starlink going on?
Yeah, he's got all that
a bunch
crazy
of
shit going
satellites,
on.
like a little
He's
just some
basically
satellite
an
train in
alien.
the sky. Yeah. It's funny.
Could you imagine having that much money?
Dude, he donated like $20 million to the county, Cameron County, in Texas, and then he donated $10 million to the city that he built that SpaceX on.
Could you just imagine having that kind of money, or you could just be like, "Here, have it."
Well, his taxes were like what, like $2 billion?
Yeah, I was gonna say the taxes on that aren't fun. I'll say that much. Like, there's a lot of overhead for sure, but like, damn. I think I don't think I'd be cut out for being a millionaire like that.
Let's say you have Elon's money and you can go investigate any place in the world. What would that one place be?
Oh, guys, it would have to be like a tour. First of all, it'd be like Baker Hotel status. Like we would take that over, pick out a few castles around. You know, Belgium has some really cool castles.
Oh yeah,
Romania castles. Romania will actually go to like Vlad Dracula. Like
I'll say, yeah, Vlad's is actually like super haunted from what I hear.
Some of the you ever watch like some of the old Travel Channel shows, I guess you would call it, the like scariest places on earth.
Yep.
You still walk around with like the camera at this angle, like it's scaring and everything. Well, it would be cool to have some history to kind of like go to those lighthouses. You know, Ghost Hunter, what they call it, that person like peeking out and coming back in over the staircase. St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Yeah, that place would be freaking sick to go to.
Yep. I always say like the big ones like Chernobyl and like like Auschwitz or Birkenau. Like
you know how many people I think died at Auschwitz?
Way more than what they say.
You do, pick a number between 5 and 25 million.
Probably 19.
You're about close, about the same. I was thinking 22 million. I watched stuff over it, and they were saying some real numbers and listening to the people how they were saying the population was. It was at close to 30 million, they said. So I think the number they're giving us is what they left, but it's very sad.
I know, and it's and like that's always my question too. Is like, do you think it's like a taboo to investigate something like that, to go to Auschwitz and to respect? And I always say this: utmost respect in our investigations, because we've never done a disrespectful one. Like I don't ever plan to.
Well, I would be cautious of doing that. I mean, Jewish customs are very scary. and I could say that as a man, like they had to follow some very strict laws, and they were very not happy people at that point. So
yeah, and I mean that's not even to like tie in. Like, what if you start talking to an SS officer? Because
I don't think they're
obviously
there.
there's a lot of energy that probably swirling around that. A lot of those guys never got persecuted, and they're probably still holding the same hatred they were back then.
They got hired on at NASA.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
For
a lot
real,
of them got
that's a
fucking hired.
scary number of how many German scientists they hired after the war.
Von Braun, whatever his name. I think that's his name, Von Braun or something. The dude that literally put us in space, basically.
He invented the laser beam.
Yep.
Don't know if y'all know that, but Hitler had an idea to make the sun a huge mirror laser beam, like we're ants, you know.
So did Archimedes, didn't he? Like with the with the shields and shit. It's like people are fucking wild, man.
If we understood at that time that kind of guy had a cocktail of some craziness injected to him by his doctor all the time, Parkinson's,
all
kinds of things.
I forgot about that. Yeah, did you ever hear about that? That Hitler had his own doctor that would follow him around and literally would just like tranquilize him basically with just like random fucking things, and the dude was just like drugs. Yeah, and he was like
it's because he was trying to cure his syphilis, right?
And he had syphilis too.
Yeah. It was and I think he ended up giving him like Crohn's and shit because he was injecting him so much.
That's why he got so sick, because he was endlessly trying to cure himself just by making himself sicker.
Do you know what would be really cool to investigate actually that I didn't think about? The fucking in the Swiss Alps where Hitler killed himself. The fucking the Eagle's Nest.
The bunker?
That would be an interesting one too.
Y'all believe
I'm sure nobody has.
There's probably tons of places in World War II history that would be so cool to investigate.
I mean, fuck, then let's just go hit like all three of us, like sometime in our lifetime as a bucket list move, let's just go to Europe. We'll start in France, we'll hit the beaches, and then we'll work our way through the entire Western Front.
Storm the beaches of Normandy.
I think that would be so cool though.
I would, dude. I really
would be.
I want to see those two.
We got to get like a script together, guys. We got to like send this into Netflix, try to get some funding so we can get this going, because this sounds awesome.
Yeah, man, dude. I would love to fund that. Do a Kickstart.
That's actually
I hear those work great.
Us to Europe. Nobody better to send to Europe on a
dude. I actually
10 grand a piece. You think 10 grand a piece?
I actually would cry.
30 grand, 40 grand. Probably,
man. It'd be a lot, especially if you wanted to like produce it well and
travel with all your equipment and get everything through customs.
It'd be a lot.
And protection, of course.
Yeah, not only that, it's like you have to also account for like just the dangers that are probably prevalent no matter where you go.
Yeah, I've like nothing against our European friends, but I've heard some horror stories about tourists coming over there and getting robbed at like knife point because
Prague subways and things like that, or back alleys.
Right. And you just like, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Jamaica. You don't know who's either just trying to make money off you or hoping that they can rob you.
You don't even know your own neighbors half the time. Like, I don't trust anybody nowadays.
Oh man, yeah. People need to touch grass, man. For real. Man, well, yeah. I mean, what do y'all planned for the summer coming up? Y'all gonna be busy?
Definitely
open availability is what I'm gonna say. If y'all want to collab on investigation, I'd love to have y'all come down here to Texas.
I was gonna say I'm 100% cool with doing that. It's just one of those. I gotta fund that trip out for like a year, probably is the only problem. But I mean, on the docket right now, it's like we definitely have the goal of doing more investigations this year than we have done probably in the previous years, because we both decided to take the seasons off hockey this summer and like really focus on the podcast, the live streams, the investigating, and see what could really open doors.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, we're not sure exactly when things are going to happen, because we're always busy,
Literally.
but because that's just life.
Right.
But we're hoping to get some places on lock or come up with some ideas of places that we want to go and try to get on lock. Like we'll definitely be going back to Double J Resort eventually because we still have a lot of property to explore there and investigate. And that's probably going to be like a bunch of videos because it's 18,000 acres. It's massive. So
the whole facility has like just a bunch of different buildings that we can.
I think it's like 1,800, isn't it?
I don't even remember. It's huge though.
It's massive. It's ridiculous.
And then on top of that, we have new locations like cemeteries that we've been privy to that are like on Native American burial grounds and like really old cemeteries that we didn't know were there. So
just to highlight some cool historical figures that somebody might not know about,
My goal is to somehow weasel our way into like a museum or two out here, or like get into somebody's back pocket that has access to like
Danny.
some cool places. Yeah, Danny. Danny is one of them.
Man, I definitely want to be able to. Yeah, you are talking great, man. Because those are the goals I like to hear too about. Man, I'm gonna be. I think Texas Frightmare Weekend's coming up.
Oh, that's awesome.
So then there's Texas Haunters Convention in July, and June is gonna be launching the podcast. So look out for the Ghost Den. The Ghost Den be launching. I got that Patreon dropping.
Nice.
Everything's set. Everything's set in there. It's not been launched yet with everything, but as everything keeps going, like merch store is open. Got my tax title license with Cam Paranormal now.
Hell yeah.
Sponsored. Yeah, partnered with Wrath and now Dubby, so they're cool. But also affiliate with Amazon, so I got that Joby Gorilla Pod vlog set up. If you buy that, there's a cool little percentage they cut for me. That helps go towards like traveling and things like that, expenses, and along the way it helps everyone else. Because if someone comes with me and I'm like, hey, a little change to help for lodging, dude, that's what it's there for. So
right.
Yeah,
totally.
And I mean, everybody that watches this down the line too, like go check this man's stuff out.
Let's see where we're at.
Amazing work. And it is 100%
down below.
I was gonna say it is 100% a-okay to help this man achieve greatness because he already is with this stuff. So let's push it over the limit.
Let's get everybody, let's get everyone involved. The bigger this community grows, I think the better off for everyone.
That's what I love about the paranormal group in general is like everybody is so just generally of the same mindset, and there's as far as I can see, not a lot of drama. I've heard otherwise, but I don't see it. There's no.
Nah, they'll be okay. They meet up in person or something. They'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No need for drama, like this is really
everybody we've talked to.
I don't even have drama in my everyday life. Why would I start?
No, yeah. I was like, if you can sit here and talk aliens, ghosts, and whatever bullshit with me, like you're cool. Like it's all fun cool.
Just know that we are not putting on a persona of any sorts. When we come onto our show, we are who we are. Unapologetically ourselves always.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Never apologize for being you.
Nope.
Exactly.
For sure.
And if you don't like it, you can kick rocks. You don't have to watch.
Kicking crystals.
But if you do like what you're watching, make sure you hit that like and sub.
For sure. For sure.
The segues are just always so ridiculous.
Oh man, I need to get with y'all. Also, I have some stickers here I can bring out from Sticky Brand.
Ooh,
I've been seeing their ads.
Cool. Yeah, definitely go with them. They have rates that go for like really good. I mean, they're not cheap quality, but prices are decent.
Oh, that does look like some nice high quality. Sweet, that's very quality print. I love it. I love that design too, actually. Yeah, I'm kind of fucking jealous, to be honest.
Yeah, we got stickers on our site, but we don't
make them. Nor do we.
We could, yes, actually, everything.
These are like collabing, conventions, things like that. Boom.
Well, we will. So you may have heard us talk about this or seen us post about it. We have a card game that I created, and eventually we're going to live stream play it live for the first time ever,
and then mass produce it through my printer.
Yeah.
You have a 3D printer?
No, it's not even a 3D printer. Like it's just
literally a
card
card
games,
game.
so like I can print it onto like cardstock or like or even like the holographic vinyl paper, so it's like stickers, so I can make like cards and whatnot.
You want to know a secret? Okay, all right, here's a secret. I'm trying to design a 3D print for EMF reader.
Like
not even a REM pod, EMF reader. No one's done that and mass produce it, so that way you can have like gel pads with it and everything instead of these. And it's going to be safe and biodegradable if need be. I'm in the works, y'all, dude. I'm telling you, it's pretty cool. I figure out how these work. These things are pretty cool.
I was gonna say I'll be one of the first to test your products and tell you how excited I am and how awesome that is, because that's fucking sick as shit. That is brilliant though.
Happens to be the card. This is the card game. There's like
hey, badass.
And then you roll the dice and it tells you your action. You line up the cards and try to solve investigations.
He made a fucking full ass like 80 card deck for our card game, and I was like, how the fuck did you do that?
Based off the lore of our podcast too.
That is so cool. That is so smart. I'm thinking about like trading cards for your own like podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, like just like branch into like that. Like, I mean, I love Magic the Gathering, and it's like that's like
I was thinking Magic. I've not played Magic much or D&D, and I think they're cool. I've even worked for like Game Trade. It's funny. Really? Yeah, and I'm sitting there like sending out maps and all these D&D characters and stuff. I'm like, I don't even play this either.
That's so fun.
But it's cool. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, because it's like I definitely am like super nerd into all that shit. Like I love anime, all of it. It's so funny.
I did watch Blue Exorcist.
That's good too. That is one of the better ones
I'm
too.
like a fish out of water here. The only
Riley never understood
anime
me.
I watch is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And that's you're scratching so many non-itches. It's barely even one.
Yeah.
And Legend of Korra, because it's sequel.
I heard they're making a new one where they're all grown up.
Oh, so like the time in between.
Yeah, like it was like a time skip, like how Naruto did it.
That would be sick. That would be.
I think that would be kind of tight.
How many episodes? There's like 700 episodes
in Naruto. Yeah, there's more than that. There's like at least 1,000, I want to say, because it goes like into like there's like so the first part is like Naruto, and then it goes from him as like a child kind of into his adolescence, and then it goes to where he's like a teenager into his like older self, which is like called Naruto Shippuden, and now they have the next one which is about his son that he's in called Boruto. So if you include Boruto, it's definitely over 1,000.
Jeez, they did every detail then.
Well, One Piece, that one fucks with my mind because they're at like 1,300 episodes right now, and the creator for that one was like, all right, so now that we're at this part, 1,300 episodes in, that was just the premise. So now we're gonna get into the real story. It's like, yeah, sure.
It just
thanks for letting us know.
People are, man.
Dude, yeah, it's fucking wild.
That's really cool. Yeah, as far as like aesthetics go from anime, I mean, you can blend some of that into different things that you could do with your podcast and things. I don't know.
See, I've always thought like having like a cartoon show of like us as cartoons,
but
that's what I'm talking like visual podcast. That's exactly
It's just so we've tried to like perfect it with like the animation stuff, and it's so fucking tough.
I did bring out some cool collectibles if y'all want to see.
Oh yeah,
y'all like comics?
Yeah.
Anybody has a comic? All right. So you ever heard of Bambox? Like the horror box they send for like autograph things and stuff. So this is like their first issue they made with their Rue Morgue magazine.
Oh, that's sick as fuck.
That's so
their
cool.
First issue. So those are really cool. And then let's begin with some real comics, y'all. Still in its sleeve and in its case, I have Transformers Universe. I think this is edition from like 1985.
What? That's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just want to let y'all see a good angle of that.
Yeah, get that focus.
Yeah. Gotta get that money shot. Yeah. There's a Spider-Man: The Conclusion, Peter Parker: The Spectacular Marvel. It's part 6. This is where I have a line of like Spider-Man Resurrection and all that.
Damn,
Whoa.
that's so wild. It's funny
All
too you said
1980s.
money shot because for the longest time people thought What Goes Bump Tonight was like a sexual thing. That's like, I love it.
No, it's funny. Great. Marvel 2 and 1. I got The Thing and Spider-Woman. Still in its
Damn.
original sleeve.
Dang.
So you've just accumulated these over time, or is this something you just got into?
No, I've accumulated these. I've had these for longer than my first paranormal experience.
That's awesome.
Web of Spider-Man. Have that.
Wow.
So they're all still in the original sleeves.
I was saying there's like literally nothing wrong with them from just like first like glance. That's so fucking cool.
Literally no one's seen these online before.
Really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys are the first people to
Unveiling.
see these show. Fantastic Four.
Wow.
The Torch. I think it was the introduction of the Torch on this one.
Yeah, I'll say these are old school too. They're classics too,
Yeah,
for sure.
I think if you see the old tape, it says like 60 cents.
Oh my god,
Wow.
that's so funny.
It's
like, how 60 cents really has risen.
For real. And that's crazy. It's like some of you'll see like 50 cents for this one, other like $1.
10 cents.
Dude, that's how I feel with my
comics.
Magic cards.
The Thing in Blue Diamond.
That's so awesome.
That's one of the like rare like Marvel characters.
We actually have a really nice comic shop right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
really?
the Griffin dress a lot.
And then I have this is my favorite. I still have more to show y'all, but this is probably my favorite. The original Punisher.
No shit.
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
Yeah, I don't know how many are out there of this one, but even like on the back, I have like the crystal shard? Like it was an old game like before, like
yeah, I was gonna say that's old school
World of
shit.
Warcraft. It was like that, yeah.
God, yeah, I can't say I've seen too many of any of them, to be honest with you.
Punisher.
I love collectibles like that though so much. Like I'm big into collecting Godzilla figures and shit, just because like growing up, giant like monsters like that just always caught my interest for some reason. So
Yeah.
like now that I'm older and able to start doing things like that, I was like, I'll buy all like the Hasbro toys and then I'll hold on to them for the rest of my life and probably be fine with it.
NECA, I'm with that the same way. NECA has a lot of good. That's what Universal Monster characters and stuff with.
Oh yeah.
Those are really cool. You'll see it like Texas Haunters Convention. You know, they got all kinds of masks and they got those. $300 for a character. You're like, oh my.
Yep.
Spider-Man Resurrection.
God.
Yeah.
And it's in such good shape. That's the craziest part to me is like you know a lot of people probably would get those and just immediately just destroy them. But it's like you had the foresight to be like, hold on, wait a minute. This is pretty cool.
Here's the Man of Steel with the introduction of Lois Lane.
Wow, that's so old.
That is really old.
Look at the M&M's commercial.
That's so crazy.
Isn't it crazy how like advertisement has changed over time too?
Dude, McDonald's went from being like a vibrant, cool place to being like a really, really sad middle-aged adult.
It's so modernized.
Taco Bell too.
Yeah, dude, it was all colorful and now it's just so plain.
If they brought
They'll
back
never understand.
Taco Bell, like, look, man, people would go
Taco Bell,
crazy.
Taco Bell was selling those Pokemon balls at one point. Everyone's trying to get
the gold cards.
The gold cards, the gold Pikachu.
Dude, those are actually worth money now. Not nearly like as much as like a Charizard and shit, but that's stuff that just fucking cracks me up. Is like I have 3 cards in my Magic collection that are each over $100. And it's like, huh? Who would have thought that something that is literally like card stock is this much money? Like I think I like one day I totaled out most of my like physical cards that I own. And I was like, I think I have like $3,000 worth of cards here. And that's just like bottom of the barrel to some of my friends that have way bigger like just
That's a lot.
yeah. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, fuck me. I was like, that is that's quite like I
Pretty
guess
cool
it's quite the
collection.
achievement, but it's like, oh, you can realistically like collect almost anything you want if you really value it enough.
I collected Pokemon cards, man. I had
That's
the
one that I cry
yellow
every night
and red cases with the belt buckle, the strap. Yeah, parents sold that in a garage sale.
Yeah, I still cry.
You think?
Yeah,
I know you think those
I don't know what
comics,
happened
like
to my
I like
card.
those comics and everything, but dude, I'd put those comics to shame right now. I know what I had. I had like rare Charizard, Pikachu, holographic.
I'm like 90%
first, like,
positive I had the
original.
shadowless Charizard that's worth like $1 million right now because it didn't have the back shadow on it and it was the holographic one. I'm like 90% positive I had one at one point.
One of the first packs I ever bought when I was a kid had a Charizard in it. And it was like when the cards first came out, and I had that card all the way until I was in like high school, and then I lost it. And I stayed in a binder and a sleeve like its entire life. Like,
well, it's funny too, because like Pokemon started the same year I was born. So it's like I was literally right at the start of it. So when I was old enough to like start collecting at 5-6 years old, like it's like they were just getting into some of the cool sets, and it's like fuck, I had so much cool stuff that I just didn't care about back then.
Right. I mean, they were still like $15 for the pack, but at the time,
yeah, it
like,
was expensive for sure.
But
yeah, but now you're like, I want to buy a booster box, which is like $300 fucking for 30 packs of them, and it's like what? No, dude, it's insane. Some of the booster boxes right now, you can buy like the older ones, like Evolutions, I think, is like closer to $700.
Oh man, and
yeah,
those are just holographics, or they have like the
it's just an older set, so
everything.
like it's like they like because they come out with sets like every year, so like there's like Radiant Dawn and then like Celestial whatever, and then like X and Y, but like then you get the older ones like Sapphire and like Ruby and things like that, or even like the old school packs, like just like original Neo packs and things like that. It's like the price steeply jumps. It's insane.
Yeah, a lot of the Neo packs I was able to, sort through cards to have. That's why I was just like, I know why I got it. What happened? I was failing or something in school. I was also like 3rd grade, so I don't know.
And then they're like, "Hey,
bro, I was not playing around.
Life is more than just trading Pokemon cards on the bus. What?
Little did they know.
I buy haunted objects offline. I know, right?
Yeah, little did they know.
The guy who played Halloween Resurrection, Michael Myers, I have this knife that's signed by him. Bambox.
No shit.
That's fucking sick.
Order Bambox, man. Yeah, y'all gotta check it out. It's like $30-$40 subscription a month. You get like cool things like Clarice Starling. Like,
no shit, that's really cool. And it's just like, is it like a different theme every month, or is it just random shit?
It's a different theme every month, and some of the months you can choose what they are if you'd like. It's really cool, and as you go, you'll get like, I have like rare pins from, this is one that was really like rare, came out for Halloween.
Oh, that's
sick. The enamels got backtracked in China on carriers, so they couldn't send them out. They only sent them out to a certain few.
I'll just say, so it's super exclusive.
Yeah, it's the Michael Myers one, so it's a collectible pin. Like, some of them have like, all of them have like the dates on them. Like, you see, it says like October 21st or something.
Yeah.
They couldn't put a date on it because it didn't go out in time. So this one,
it's a one of a kind. That's so cool.
That is really cool.
So, do you believe in Divic boxes?
Like I said, Judas Customs are crazy to me. So, I mean, if there's something out there like that, I wouldn't be surprised. But nah, not really. Here's Horror Freak. Shout out Horror Freak. Love those dudes up there.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty cool, man.
I was actually gonna say that's pretty cool. There's another box that's close to that I've heard of before, but I don't remember what it is.
It's all artists. Like, they'll send, it's all artist certified. Like, everything.
That's so cool.
This, like, yeah.
I mean, honestly, like if you're trying to fill up like a studio or like to do like
That's sick.
What do you call it? Like a visual podcast. What better to do than order a bunch of fucking memorabilia that just like shows up?
So since you just pulled out a play chat, do you think Ouija boards are legit?
Yes.
Oops.
I need to probably, there's a bunch of more stuff in here, but yes, and there's honestly, I plan on going back to a house because of my teenage adolescence. So, believe probably there's something that was left in a house. It shouldn't be there. And from what I'm hearing, the house is not selling. It's already gone through 4 different families in 10 years.
Wow. And I'm
sure a lot of weird stuff I'm hearing about.
I'm sure that all the families too have been like, I don't want it because it's haunted.
They didn't even know. It's dark though. It's what I would say the darkness compared to would probably be like Woodman's now, but what would prepare me not to be so dramatic with Woodman's was that. So.
Does Texas have the lemon law that Michigan does, like you were saying, right?
Yeah, so in Michigan, you can't, if a house is haunted, you have to
disclose that.
Disclose it.
No. So, like, I think it was my sister and my cousin. Again, we gone to Go Man's Bridge and all that. We did it in a Ouija board. Made one out of a pizza box, right?
Yep, I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
That night, like, dude, I've seen garage door go into garage door open.
Yeah.
Like, we play hide and seek in there. We never scared. That was our grandparents' house. Never scared of that place.
Yeah.
It changed. Atmosphere changed. Like 2 years later, like my grandmother passes away. I had to sell the house just within like 2 years of all that. It was just so dark. And then like before they ended up emptying the house, I went over there and I don't think anything of it, but I was like, I want to see if I still feel this energy here.
Yeah.
So sure enough, I go back in the garage and I walked to the house and I was like, okay, but I'm in the garage and I'm like if you're here, you can show me. And I've closed the door. I'm in complete pitch darkness in a garage.
Right.
And I'm like, if you're here in this house and you're going to go after anyone, you can come after me now. I'm here. That was like the final, like, you're not going to scare me anymore. Because it was, dude, that whatever is there is terrifying. I felt the energy of it, but it was like it was up and like above me, like in the attic. If I had to put a location on it, like there, but it was staying at its distance.
But like looking at you.
But my stepmom had already gone over and blessed the house like a week ago, like before I went over there. That's why I ended up having to go back over there. I was like, let me see what's going on. But yeah, that was interesting. And I still believe that's over there. My sister called me the other day and said her friend ended up having like a nightmare saying she saw my grandmother just really upset, telling everyone to get out. I was like, that don't sound like my grandmother. That wouldn't be her attitude at all.
Right.
She wasn't even angry. But I'm like, see, that's what you're talking about, those dreams. I'm saying that's the kind of memories they manipulate and play with, and then boom, use it to scare you in those environments, I believe. But I kind of talked to her about it. Yeah, I think we're going to go back over there. I'm going to take my sister and her friend Brooke, who's had an experience there that I wasn't there, didn't even know about it. She had never known about any of that.
Right.
But she was able to tell us. So.
Yeah, because I definitely do think that it's a big possibility that like we are being manipulated while we're sleeping. Because I guess that would probably be the most vulnerable state.
Think about this: if it,
I don't sleep with the TV
going to try and trick you to get you to communicate with it, it's not going to give you images of itself. It's going to give you familiar images and try to over exaggerate the emotions that it's trying to get you to connect with. So like if it is a demon, it's going to not act like your grandmother because it doesn't know how to act like your grandmother or whatever it is that it's a kid. It's not actually a kid. It's pretending to be a kid because it knows children hit a soft spot in everyone.
Ooh, I got a good one. What do you think of skinwalkers?
Skinwalkers? I mean, shoot, this thing here could be skinwalker material. I mean, we're talking Texas here. I mean, this is like about Rockwall Heath. It was built on. I know here. It was built on native Indian burial grounds, man. The whole neighborhood, Rainbow Lake, the whole area was built.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, they don't know that, but does it make sense? Like those dark things started happening. Like we would have garage door open. My grandfather said he would see an animal
run by. Other people would say it wasn't an animal. They'd see people run out.
Yeah.
We'd have because people start reporting people walking into garages and all that.
Yeah, because like, what if your
weird.
aunt blessing the house too explains why you still felt the presence looking down at you? Because it wasn't necessarily like.
Oh, it was my stepmom. She's a corporate flight attendant. She's great, but she definitely believes like in a higher power, and she wouldn't play around like that. So I just, for my own understanding, wanted to go over there to see. That's all.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I am too. Like we blessed my house with sage and other things like that, and I was like, is this gonna work? Like I'm not gonna hold my breath.
I've been in a room where deliverance has taken place. Excuse me. That was what, 2015.
Yeah.
And this guy had come into a situation to where he was from Arkansas and just screaming in the middle of the night. And this was I was still in ministry. And dude just screaming in the middle of the night. We're like, okay, why? Yeah, we had to pick him up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, what's going on with this guy? And I'm the one having a fire post. And so they're like, okay. He just gets up in the middle of the night, dude. Like screaming everything. And I'm not restraining him, but I'm like,
you're like shit.
At the time, my ministry, like you're basically like you're traveling all the time, so you're staying at like a pastor's house. I'm at a pastor's house. I'm like, oh, Pastor Mike. I'm like fuck, what's going on here? I heard that I can't handle that one.
Oh boy,
I'm 23 at the time. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, bro.
This is all brand new.
Brand new in Fort Worth, funky towns. Like it's getting really funky quick up in here. No, really though, man. So man, get this guy for like 2 or 3 weeks, the same routine, prayer, fasting, all this is not working. Like either he really wants this to happen and wants to see what happens, but it's not good, it's not fun,
right?
Anyways, we got to go through certain channels and ended up bringing, the guy over that does that, and the whole everything, feet, stomach, the head, all that, and just watched it all just manifest and how it happened. And I was there. His head was like laying on my lap near my knee a little bit because he had already spit and everything. But to restrain this man from a chair took like 4 of us, and I was on his legs completely. And I can just remember the strength of that. Like it was just pressure, like not to let go. I'm like, that's just insane. I was like, whatever this man's dealing with. But at the time, it wasn't drugs. Couldn't have been time wise.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So
that's like, how
that was a real deliverance they say that took place, but it was the only one. And then after that, he kept like lifting his arms, trying to point or something like that. I'm like, pastor's like, he's pointing at Jared. Don't let him point at Jared. I'm like, is he gonna like go into him now? We're gonna have to him next? I don't know, but it was that was a moment.
That's so crazy.
And this is for an international church too. I'm not even mentioning, but it's crazy that the certain channels they went through, I knew like that they had to do to get that. I'm like, y'all really pulled this one out.
That's like that to me too. It's like I want to believe that that's real, but at the same time,
how do you believe it's not like you think theatrical? It's literally like you got 10 guys circling around one guy in the middle of a chair in the sanctuary, and you let the guy that's a demonologist do his work. That's it.
I think it's one of those I have to believe it in person to like
see it. Experience it. It's weird.
I agree. I would agree with that. Where it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's probably like black tar heroin. I don't want to try that. Should I try that? No. Is that something that is like an experience in life? Probably. But is it a good experience? No.
Like I would like. I've never tried psychedelics or anything, so I would like to experience that in a healthy way. But what does that make me if I do them now? But it's still, I would like to open my mind a little bit.
I mean, there's not that we're gonna preach medical advice to anyone or anything, but
definitely not.
Like, I've done it in my life, and I think it has helped me spiritually.
Doctors literally have come out and said microdosing psilocybin has beneficial effects long term on you.
I think it affects like my IBS, things like that I deal with.
Yeah.
So that could be.
I came across a lot of interesting theories when it comes to like psychedelics and stuff. Because I mean, it's a lot like that paranormal aspect. It's
you're opening like a perspective that you're probably not used to.
Right.
Yeah.
Hallucinations are a total
That's a good
different thing.
point.
Like, what is hallucination actually? Is it your brain playing imagination tricks,
Or are you
seeing
utilizing
something?
more than you ever
Yeah.
thought you could?
That's where it makes it interesting. So, like, what if you were
Okay.
to combine the two? Not that you should.
I would study that. I
But
would
what
like
if
to
you were
study
to
the
take
difference of
mushrooms and
that.
look for ghosts? Like, would you actually see the ghost?
I don't know about
Not
investigating.
saying that
like,
you should.
I
do
don't.
that,
Yeah, I
but
don't think you
totally
should.
just investigate
it's an
it, I'd
interesting
say.
thought.
Well, that it is interesting thought if you study it that way, but I mean, I don't know how functioning on it would be. But
Right.
thinking
You
while
probably
on
end
it
up
is
not doing
open.
that at all. But
Well, and like there's also like
Jack
like
Black, the Pick of Destiny.
yep. Well, there's natural occurring like these are natural occurring hallucinogens. So it's not like these are chemically induced by man-made substances. Like these are literally plants that alter your chemical makeup in your body enough to have you perceive things differently. And to me, when they found out that you could cure depression and like help with things, not cure depression, but like help with depression and anxiety and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like just by utilizing those things to help, it starts to make me wonder personally, well, if it's helping those avenues, is it opening the other channels as well? Because I've done it in my past, and I feel like I have a lot of paranormal experience all the time when I go investigate.
Yeah. To a certain extent, does it just become a certain feeling you're used to? I mean, being a medium, being a psychic, empath, you have to control those things, either one of them. So if you're learning that way, it sounds like you already have. But
Yeah.
if you know, because if you know, you would say, what is it still? Like,
right.
I don't know the experience on those, but something I would like to openly think about to study difference in, but not while
I do think that there are a lot of benefits to going into situations rather than just doing it from like I want to go get fucked up and have fun like standpoints where it's like,
I never been that type, but I've been around people that won't like that mentality. It's okay, but it's like I gotta be safe, man.
yeah. To me, I'm always like there's like an extent where I'm like feeling comfortable because like I know my limits. I mean, it took me a while to figure out my limits, and it was a lot of testing to do that. And now I'm like, all right, I did that. I don't really care to do it anymore. Like it's not for me anymore. Like I've moved past it. But at the same time, I do think it was pretty beneficial to have the experience.
Always. That's a good point of view. I like that. That's a good note.
Like it could, like honestly too, like you could use that for every experience that you've ever gone through. Like it could be completely fucking ass.
Like giving life advice here now, man.
I know, like now we're going straight Dr. Phil. Like, but like as long as you take that experience, no matter how good or bad it was, and you utilize it as like a learning point, I think anything that you can derive from it is worth deriving from it.
Great. That's awesome, man.
It's all about intent, right? What's your intent on why you're doing it? You know, if your intent is
shitty assholism,
yeah, that's a good way to put it, then that's the results that you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
And it goes to like, oh, gosh, how am I trying to say this? Like, we all want to have the most experiences in life. We all want to
one up each other.
No,
I mean, in a sense, no.
We all want to.
We're all doing the same thing.
Like that.
You know, experiences, whether it be spiritual or a psychosis of sense induced by recreational drugs.
Great way you put that.
But in the end, it's all about becoming who we're meant to be, right? Like at the end of the day, like, are you going to be a person that has malicious intent on others, or are you going to be someone who is more of like a helper and a giver and is willing to receive and exchange knowledge and wealth and like all of those things? Like, obviously, anytime that you spend money on supporting someone, you're helping line their pockets as well, obviously. And if you're not down with that, then you don't know what consumerism is at all. But Like that's how it works. So if you're not willing to go out and support people to have paranormal experiences, it makes it tough for people like us to go out and have the experiences we're looking for, because these places aren't cheap and things like that.
And they're skyrocketing. I mean, some of the stuff I'm now, what like showing lag to be able to even put stuff out, because I'm like, as soon as I blow it up, then they're gonna skyrocket. Jefferson City, the hotel's like $200 easily.
Yep.
Any night.
Yeah.
And then
look at how expensive equipment is too.
Yeah. Paranormal investigating can be it's a cheap hobby, but it can also be a very expensive hobby.
I think it's a very cornered market.
Yeah.
It's an extremely cornered market, is because only a certain few people produce the stuff or have the locations, and that's why you see these giant price tags on everything.
Good.
Really, if you break it down like group wise, it all isn't expensive. But if you just look at the number, that
group wise, I wouldn't see it at all.
Like,
I mean,
it's no more expensive than getting a hotel, honestly. But at the same time, like, gas prices are crazy right now, so traveling anywhere is crazy. And then, like, for me, I always worry about, like, if I go 500 miles, I have to come back 500 miles. That's 1,000 miles. What if something happens to my car? Like, and I'm running on,
well, what cracks me up too
so
is like
it's so tough.
Well, a lot of people too will like come up to me that are like older people, and they'll be like, have you guys been to here, like investigated this place? And it's like, no, we like, they want a deposit of like $800, like it costs that much to get in. They're like, oh, they just let us come in for free. It's like, yeah, see, but like this was what, 20 years ago, when nobody cared about paranormal investigating or what was out there, because nobody really thought there was.
Right, times have changed. Now you see the paranormal world has became a entertainment business. 100%. It's wild.
Zach Baggins, I love the show. I enjoy it, but you don't get a 20 season long show. Well, 20 plus seasons long.
If there would have thought, who would have thought like all that would come out of a documentary for someone?
I know. And it was, if you watch the documentary too, it's the best evidence they ever caught with the brick like being flung too. It's like and
how did that happen though? Like
all I can recall from the video that I remember,
it's literally a big brick flying.
Yeah, it's like they walk into a room.
Couple 2x4s.
Yeah, well, yeah, like a 2x4 like kind of falls over, and then like a brick like floats up, seemingly twists, and like flings across the room.
Like
and
20 miles an hour.
And they all fucking scream and run in different directions, which genuine reaction. I hate when people are like, I wouldn't do that. Well, no, the dude that's been doing it the longest just ran away because he got scared.
I honestly probably wouldn't though.
I might. I mean, at this point too.
Maybe if I see a brick flying through the air, I might run.
I think it would get my adrenaline moving enough to like be moving. I would want to go back, but
the one thing I think the evidence they caught for me ever was that the Valentines.
Oh,
the Valentines.
I do know the one you're talking about.
After I heard about that tragedy, and then they went back to where they, investigated with them and caught both their voices when at the spot they were telling everything that happened. It's one of those things we think about, like you were saying, like they were there, that happened. Were they catching the energy from that time, or was that her from the other side? It's weird.
Yeah. Am I hearing an
residual
past, or is
residual or something? I think that was intelligent though, but
it's so hard to discern that too, because I always want to say, like, if you say like how many people are here, like 4, well, yeah, that's intelligence. Obviously, it's showing intelligence answering your question, but at the same time, well, I mean, if somebody said the word 4, like you say you're on like a that's all you heard out of it. Well, then there you got your confirmation. But was it intelligence? No, it was a residual. But I don't know.
Oh man, I need to get investigating. Again.
I know that's investigating so long. Where like every fucking winter we both like hibernate like bears because it's like hockey's going and like I'm raising my baby and like working my ass off to try to make ends meet, and it's just like. Cool. Oh, when it gets warm again and we can like realistically like go places and not be so uncomfortable in our own skin, standing just in one spot trying to talk to it and like anything. It's like, it sounds so nice because it gets fucking cold here in the wintertime, like sub-zero cold.
Well, here, I mean, like I said, y'all have seasons that y'all have things going on. Like times like that, man, there's places you are more than welcome to come here and just stay.
Yeah, I would
stay in touch, man,
gladly
for
go
sure.
to Texas.
For sure, man. We even got ice hockey. Take you over to Frisco to the Stars practice facility if you need to see some ice.
Yes, sir. Texas, lit. I really
Yeah.
hope that they fucking turn that series around, though, to be honest.
Bro, I think it's over. I don't honestly. As a Dallas fan, like we don't act that way. As all, like, we're not gonna throw stuff at people. We're
I
not
was
gonna
so
be
like,
Utah.
whoa.
No, we're
I
not
was like, I
gonna
haven't
do
seen
that
that
kind
in
of
a
stuff.
long time.
They're just more upset because we waited a
The
long
refs were
time.
not calling a fair game. I'll just say that too. Like,
You want to know a cool
it was
reference?
not it was not fair.
It wasn't though. They're cool reference. Vinny Paul and Daryl Dimebag, all of them.
Yeah.
Vinny was a Vegas fan. He had a portion of the Vegas rights and owning them. And Dimebag Daryl was a Stars fan. And I'm just like, wow. And like this year's like the 20th anniversary of Dimebag Daryl's passing. So it's just like, I thought about it. It's like, that's cool.
That's crazy.
It's pretty cool. Like there's some places I like to take y'all. Like Deep Ellum is kind of for me now because of how it's changed, man. But before pandemic, like be able to bounce and bands and all that good stuff. And everyone over there knew each other. That's the thing. If it was one person, it's usually about 2 or 3 owners that own every establishment down there anyways.
Yep.
So there's Reno's and it's a biker bar. It used to be Daryl Dimebag's bar. Like he used to go and hang out there.
That's cool.
And like there's cool spots like that I'd be able to show you and everything.
Yeah, the hole in the wall stuff.
Yeah, there's those, but like I said, then there's also the history of the JFK. I can show you where Harvey Oswald lives, and if you're vegan or whatever, there's a cafe right next door there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history. West Dallas is it was a gangster town, so that's why they call Dallas as the players and Fort Worth is the gangsters.
That's awesome.
That's the way they put it. So it's Funky Town is Fort Worth and Triple D Dallas is Dallas. So
damn.
Yeah, and their South Dallas has a lot of history too. Most of that, man, you know how that it just goes away. But East Dallas, they've torn a lot of things down to build new homes and apartments so everyone can move here. We've had 2 million people move in like the last year or so. So
that's wild.
I mean, it goes to show though that like Texas is like the place to be right now.
Shoot, taxes, man. Property taxes going up.
Yeah, I would say outside of that,
we're at our limit now, and I think Dallas just went above the top 100 city, and we're okay with that.
Hell yeah,
we're okay with that.
Seeing like Muskegon and Flint and stuff are like murder capitals. Like, they're up there,
and you're telling me you're stuck up in the winter and everything, frozen, driving.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest though, like from being from Michigan though, it really isn't as bad once you've lived your whole life doing it. Where it's like you get fucking 90-degree weather for what 4 or 5 months?
No, not even, bro.
So, okay,
like
2.5. 4 months if you're lucky, and then the rest it gets colder and colder gradually until it's finally like -10, and you're like, I gotta go shovel because there's a foot of snow in my driveway.
Man, I can experience that. Oh, see that.
But I mean, the cool thing is we get to see it all. We get to see the season change with like, like we get to see the snow. We get to see
the leaves come and go.
It's all nice.
Seasons. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And then like there's
you don't like the weather.
Trail that we can drive. That's like along the lake shore and whatnot. And it's like the what do they call it?
Sea of Leaves or whatever.
Or, yeah, it's like the tunnel of trees or something.
Yeah, tunnel of trees. That's it.
And it's like you just go through like this long looping road that's just like trees just growing over the road, and when it changes colors, it's so pretty. Man, I love it.
I like visualize that now.
Yeah, and then cool. Like if we go right now where we're at right now recording, if we were to go up the road like 5 minutes, we'll be at the dunes and the lake shore, so we'll be right on the beach. So it's like,
that's
it's nice.
Yeah, so like Lake Michigan looks like an ocean when you get to it. It's amazing.
And the fresh water's pretty fucking sweet because
Yeah.
you don't get all
Isn't the
salty.
Fitzgerald buried there somewhere in that water? The Fitzgerald that sank.
There's
the boat, it's like a
a
ship.
lot of ships.
I was gonna say I think it is Lake Michigan. I think it's in one of the Great Lakes. I just don't remember which one.
The area of the Great Lakes always makes me think of The Fog, the movie by John Carpenter. He made that
honestly,
movie.
it does happen like that too. Like
It
you'll
do
get
be
like
like
fog
that.
rolling in off the harbor and shit, and you'll be like, "Whoa!"
Especially in the fall time.
It's so cool.
Jeez. I've seen that only like San Francisco, Oakland. That was like in July. I was like,
We
damn,
did an
San Francisco's
investigation at a
cloudy.
cemetery where it was completely foggy that night.
Yeah, so like there was like an overcast.
It was the most eerie
That's
night
cool.
to ever be
Yeah.
in like a historic cemetery, which is it's said to be the most haunted cemetery in all of Michigan.
But the problem with that is it might be, but they're starting to urbanize all around it so hard that
It's kind of lost the spooky
exactly
aesthetic.
like the feeling just isn't the same anymore.
It was that night though. The lighting actually made for some sick photos.
I agree with that.
Well, I remember
Photo shoot
that
was
too,
legendary.
man.
Yeah, photo shoot was legendary.
I remember that too. So the area like cemeteries, if you ever come down there and want to investigate one, I think Pecan Grove Cemetery would be it. It has McKinney Square, all the original houses.
Yep.
It's historic, so like it's not going to be touched by any commercialism or anything. It's going to stay the way it is. It's pretty cool. My cousin got married there in the square.
Oh, that's awesome.
That investigation, that's where I had that loud bang on the tree, and that was like, not even 20 feet away. That was wild.
Yeah, and explain to me like what hit the tree and makes a sound like that.
A baseball bat, a freaking
Exactly.
rock. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like after hearing it too, it's like what the fuck?
Yeah, you could just replay it and see like you. I don't even
like
know
the genuine
about,
like what?
Yeah, that's what's cool. I mean, experiencing those type of things, like, yeah, I'd like that even more than getting the EMF reading, obviously, but
Agreed.
they don't happen like that. That's why I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, when you can audibly hear or you can visually see, and then you can confirm it with like getting it captured on your devices, it's like, oh, hallelujah! Like this is so fucking sweet.
No, yeah, it is. It's definitely one of those moments that you're like, oh, thankful. And then, honestly, we would have kept going. That was only a portion of the cemetery. That cemetery is very, very big.
Really, I bet.
When we got to the babies where they were buried, man. And I was like, after this, like, we need to probably change batteries or something. And the battery died. So I was like, okay, all right, confirmation.
That stuff happens.
And then I was,
spirits
I
always
like
show up when you say you're gonna leave.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, right.
Every time you say I'm gonna leave now, they're like,
"Oh, show up in the
no.
beginning." Say, "All right, I'm gonna leave."
Walk in. All right. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming up is, like I said, Texas Frightmare Weekend, which is this weekend. So looking forward to going to that. I'm trying to vlog it. I'll try to get over to Horror Freak.
We got Ghostorama actually over here this coming
Ghostorama. I heard about that
next weekend.
Yep.
Cool.
I'm gonna be at Ghostorama next weekend with the What Goes Bump in the Night crew of me and Jenna. And it's gonna be sick because we get to see like a bunch of our friends too that we've made throughout the Michiganders paranormal groups and whatnot. And then Eden Springs, where they're hosting it, is actually one of my favorite places because so goes Al Capone used to like frequent the area because it's closer to like the border of Michigan and down there kind of closer to Chicago. So they used to do like I don't want to say it, like train. They had train like a smaller.
It was
train.
a small commune of people.
Yeah, and then
they built a small little city kind of.
And then they had like shows of live animals like lions and shit. So like there's a ton of history in this like little compound, but now
they basically used an amusement park to fund their town.
Exactly. And now they're like restoring it historically, and it's like this place fucking sweet. I long-winded the shit out of that, but
yeah, you are getting that back. New Orleans is restoring the Six Flags there. They're gonna make a park out of it. I think they should make a totally haunted park out of it. Everyone wants
too.
Everyone said it's
I was gonna say like every Halloween, if I could afford it, I would go there. Like that'd be sick as hell.
I've gotten offers to be a guide down there. That'd be
Really,
something
that's sweet.
24/7. Yeah, yeah. But then think about what you open yourself up to, and like where I'm at.
Yeah,
I'm like, man,
yeah,
I was
you're
like 21.
constantly
Cool.
Trying
I'm
to keep
30 in
people out.
July.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I like what I'm doing. I'm set with like Thrillvania, a haunted house. That's a world-known haunted house. It's been on Travel Channel for years.
Heck yeah.
The guy who even created all that, Lance Pope, he passed away. He was like 35. Yeah, 2004. So he's been gone for a long time. They've been able to carry it on. His dream was to have the park and have like restaurants. Instead of like leg of lamb, you have leg of human. Different rides and all that, including the Verdun Manor.
I love that.
He's pretty cool dude. He was. I was like in 4th grade when he passed away, so it's whatever. But I've been a haunt actor there, and I'm involved in that way. But now I'm trying to going for like stage manager, things like that.
Right, a little more behind the scenes.
Yeah, we have Texas Haunters Convention coming up. They're supposed to charter a bunch of people from there that have like the VIP passes to go to the haunt. Well, also the Cutting Edge is open, and Reindeer Manor, all owned by the same owner. He actually went to school with my aunt on my dad's side, Todd James. He's a really cool dude, man. I've met him, talked to him at the haunts a couple of times. Thrillvania and Cutting Edge is so different, but the animatronics they pulled from Thrillvania was Lance's idea, basically.
Yeah,
pretty cool, but one of those things. But yeah, there's that. All that stuff's coming up. That's planned. That's kind of stuff I stay involved in, been involved with, and
it's so fun. That stuff sounds so
cool.
like it sounds like so much fun.
Eventually, I would really like to all these collections and everything, like trade shows and all that. I like take all this stuff there and just kind of trade out and swap this and that.
Yeah,
you do that at like Texas Haunters conventions. Yeah, stuff like that.
I love that. See, like
all the stuff I bought have been at conventions too. I'm not just going to like Spirit Halloween. Don't get me wrong. I've been a manager there. Cool, but all my stuff's has been bought, from conventions.
Yeah, I want to go to like Comic-Con out in like Los Angeles, like the big ones and shit, where it's like everybody really goes like head over heels for the cosplay and like everything. Cool. It's like that to me is just like that would be awesome because that's it's just been such a staple in my life, like going back to when I was a kid, just like being into all that stuff. Because I mean, a lot of the stuff that they animate on there and shit like that, like you can't recreate like in real life. So it's like it's been like an escape for me personally. So it's like, yeah, like I could definitely see myself like enjoying like, yo, nice hat. You need a backpack? Like, I like that.
That's cool. Yeah, I one of these days it'd be cool to own a haunt. I've done home haunts already at my place, setups and everything like that, like masks and all that. But yeah. Even like this is about to become like a sticker too. This guy, he's already a symbol. But I bought this from the owner of Horror Freak at the store.
That's awesome.
I like that. Yeah, it says Wicked on it. It's my little gnome. But yeah, man. I mean, moving forward, there's a lot of things I've had. I'm just, I'm not going to rush anything. Let things happen the way they're happening, and it'll sort itself out. But yeah, eventually, I think we're going to be able to get a collab soon. So hopefully,
yeah, hopefully down the line that'll be definitely something that we'll try to make happen. Especially
there's a lot of moving parts
to the Texas area at any point in our lives.
Cool.
But I want to thank you for taking your time, spending 2 hours with us, talking the paranormal.
Man, 2 hours already.
Yeah. It's so easy to do it. We literally every time we end these, like we'll sit there and we'll go, I could have talked for like another 12 hours. Like this is way too easy now.
I haven't gone in the bathroom in like 2 hours, so I'm due.
Yeah,
y'all were great. Man. Thank y'all so much.
I just love making friends too. Like this is great.
Yeah, that's exactly why we do it too. It's like it's a good chance to connect with someone that we may not have ever ran into in real life. So
that's great. That's awesome, and I hope that's a sign of more things to come too for everyone.
I hope so as well. Again, you can find all of his links down in the description if you want to check out his videos, keep up to date with what he's doing in his life.
Hit those subscribe and bell buttons because it's worth it. I promise.
Yeah, appreciate y'all very much, man. Everyone y'all subscribe to them. I know y'all are, but check out their stuff too. So
yeah, shout out everyone in the chat that has stayed and watched the entire live stream. You guys are
the real fucking
amazing. We absolutely love you.
I'm gonna shout out. Let's see, Weeping Willow Paranormal, Wolf Paranormal, Tara. Let's see, Paranormal XP. Everyone that showed up tonight, appreciate the ones that told me they did show up. I appreciate y'all. And Candy, thank you so much. Blood Moon, everyone. Yeah, I'll remember this. I appreciate y'all very much.
So. It's so nice to just like to see the camaraderie that's there too. It's so nice. I love it. This is what I do it for is to build the relationships with the people, and especially like even the people in the chat. Like just because you guys are in the chat and not in screens with us does not mean we don't have the same love or like you have the same valid opinions or whatnot. It's like I love everybody. That's just who I am at part
We absolutely love everyone that has joined the night crew. We will be off next week, and we will be back June 7th at 8 p.m. with the Spirit Stalkers. That's going to be an absolute banger as well.
Look for our normal feed, our podcast stuff, to release some stuff in the meantime as well. There should be stuff like past live streams I'll have up for our actual feed, and then also we will have a new true crime episode releasing very, very soon, and that one is going to be a lot different from what we normally do.
It's fucked. I'll just put a disclaimer.
There's
out
a huge
now.
trigger warning.
Fucked. Okay, there's no other way to explain this story other than it is fucked. That might be what we call the episode. This episode is fucked because it is that.
It's graphic. It's so I'm almost sad we decided to do that one.
I might have almost cried while we were listening to the interview that we play. So
as lighthearted as we make everything, like this is like a very
probably one
episode.
of the most like savage, brutal, disgusting crimes you'll ever hear in your life.
Pretty much. All right, with all that being said,
remember, folks, to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes
bump in the night.
Peace. The awkward.